Hey, what's up guys, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends 20 years Marvel Legends Hulk. This is the retro, but not that retro, kind of anniversary special edition thing. I love this whole idea that they're throwing back to the Toy Biz figures, love it. Very big fan of it personally, as like a collector. As a reviewer, Cap wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, but it was still a solid figure. I'm guessing I'm breaking away from the norm here, and I'm gonna say that Hulk is a better release than Cap. I don't know if other people are saying that or not, but I'm saying it, and then there's a lot of good things about this Hulk figure. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands, let's say 8.5 inches. That seems about right, and that's gonna make him pretty close to, just shy of 22 centimeters. Let me grab Cap here. I should have had him closer. So the reason I said Hulk is a better figure than Cap is I think they knew what they wanted to do more with Hulk than they did with Cap. This weird semi-cell shaded art style that they did is just kind of a miss for me, and it's just inconsistent across the figure. Whereas Hulk here, this is one of the most good examples of paintwork that they've done in a long time. It reminds me of that Cyclops Phoenix 2-pack where Cyclops was very nicely shaded. This guy is covered with shading, purposeful, a singular style. This guy has like no shading or cell shading, and it's just weird. But there's a quick size comparison if you want to see the two together. A lot of people love this figure. Is it the best Cap? Maybe. Check out that review. We're going to talk about Hulk though, and we're going to start with the aesthetic. But first we have to do a question of the day. Just like I did with Cap, I asked if you liked his blue. I'm going to ask how you feel about this green. More specifically, which green do you prefer for Hulk? For me, this is perfect. I love the darker, like forest green, with the slightly more yellow green on top. I think that covers all the bases, and it's like the perfect, I love the more saturated, darker, deeper green. I don't want the neon green, I don't want the really dull green, like the darker green that's underneath this. That would be boring. But this is like the perfect combination for me. I love this green, and I am a purple pants kind of guy, so you can comment on both. What green do you like, and what pants do you like? Blue pants are okay. I'm a purple and green kind of guy for Hulk, and I think this is just, they nailed it. They got it exactly the way they needed to. They've had some trouble with this mold, with the shading in the past, and this time they finally did it. They just threw it everywhere except for one thing, which we're going to talk about. So let's continue with the aesthetic. I'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to talk about the pants. We have the dark purple, then there is shading. There's like dry brushing sort of paintwork on top, and it's super subtle though, so I think that is kind of wasted. It should be a little bit more vibrant, kind of like the way they did the dark and light here. A little bit more vibrant on the highlighting. Would have gone a long way, but they still look really good. I love that they did the white around the torn parts. Like, it's not super, like, I don't even think it's sculpted along here. I think it's just paint, but I like it. They did miss it along the back here, which is super lazy and unacceptable in some ways, but then in other ways it's okay because it's pretty much everywhere else. Mine's missing it here too. Is it like that for you guys as well, or is mine just not completed? Either way, I like it. Overall, it's pretty good. I like that a whole bunch. This mold, not my favorite Hulk mold ever, but this paint job makes it look really good. Is it as good as the Marvel Select one? No, probably not. Do you guys want me to review that? Let me know, and maybe I will. But I do think this overall combination is really nice, except for one thing, and we're going to talk about that now. We have some new heads on this guy finally, which is awesome, and in some ways they are incredibly good. Like, the specific sculpt work on this face is fantastic. I think it's really, really nice, and I think the way they did the paint job is good for the eyes. The mouth being a separate piece with the teeth painted, that's all fine. I can't stand really the fact that he's got this light green shading everywhere except his face. He needs that lighter green on his face as well. It doesn't make any sense to not have it. You definitely wouldn't want the face darker than the body. If anything, you want the face lighter so that it stands out better. But making it have no shading is just a giant missed attempt. Same thing here with the alternate face. There's no light green on it, and it definitely detracts from the figure, like a whole bunch, especially since the light green shading on the body is so nice. So that's really killing it for me. That's a bummer, but I love the way they did the eyes. Mouth is good. The hair is shaded exactly the way I would want it to be shaded. I'm curious how you guys feel about the style of hair. I don't like the big sideburns we have on both of these heads. This one, it's a little bit more acceptable. We'll talk about that in a second. But I would rather see some ears and some more traditional Hulk. Like, I don't know about this whole, like, this one's close. I don't know. I'm not sold on the hair, but I do like the sculpt work. Like, it is objectively really, really good, and the paintwork is pretty spot on other than the lack of shading, so I do like that. So aesthetically speaking, this is by far the best we've seen this mold look, and it is by far the best Hulk we've had since, I don't know, forever probably. We haven't had a lot of really good Hulk figures. We've had good like offshoots of Hulk, like Planet Hulk or World War Hulk or no, War Hulk, whatever. We've had different ones that were really good, and even some on this mold have been fine. This one is by far the best looking, so I'm very pleased with that. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 for the aesthetic. If the face was painted properly, I'd be done. It'd be great. It'd be awesome. Okay, let's talk accessories. I did mention the alternate head, which is the more stern face, and again, really well detailed. Not a fan of the sideburns and not having ears showing, but it is objectively well done for what it is, other than the light shading is missing. For hands, we have the 2 open hands on in the package. We get the 2 fist hands. That's fine. Then we have the unique accessories. One is the android head, which is yellow. Did we get a yellow one? I thought the only ones we got were silver. Why is it yellow? Can somebody tell me about that? Like, I get that he's like torn it off, right? But why is it yellow? Somebody let me know. Also, it looks like a candy because it's transparent. But we get that, and we get this really cool stomp effect, which, I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen anybody pose it this way, but to me, it's supposed to be like he's stomping the ground, and it's making the ground lift up in front of him, like this. You know what I mean? Like, he's kicked it, so there's like the effect coming out where he hit the ground, and then he's making it pop up where the other people are. So I don't know what these other pegs are for, if not for other figures, which is okay, that's cool. But I really love this accessory. This is the kind of stuff I want to see more of with Marvel Legends. And then the last accessory is the display stand, which is whatever, but it has a cool card back, which has the comic on the one side and the broken building on the other. I think that's pretty good. So as far as accessories go for Hulk, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll go 9 out of 10. I really like this effect part with the broken ground. I love that. It's very unique and it's fun. And Cap had really good accessories too. And so that brings me to the talking point of the price point, but I'm going to save that until after we go over the articulation. So let's do that quickly. We have seen this all before, so it shouldn't take too long, but we're going to try. This new head does really severely limit the range on this crappy ball peg. You can rotate it basically and lean it just a little bit, but not too much. So, it's not great. For the shoulder, ooh. Wow, I don't remember it being that stiff. That's what she said. It's fine though. You can get the arm up to almost horizontal. You do get this weird beam because the shoulders are still weird on this figure. So it's not great, but you do get that. You do get your full rotation, of course, and you get the complete backwards butterfly joint, which again has very specific purpose. It's definitely useful. Like, even right there, you can see it's kind of a cool look, but you can't make him do the clap or a ground pound or anything because we have no forward motion at all. So it's cool that it goes back, not cool that it doesn't go forward. By the way, you do get some shading on the back at the top here and on the arms. Not so much down here. I think I can live with it since the front looks so good, but it really should be everywhere. Okay, so bicep swivel, it's really a floating bicep, and you get the swivel down here at the elbow, but that is fine. I would prefer it to be a double joint. You can do double joint on a figure this big, but they just didn't. Man, I love this paint job. It looks so good on camera too. It's so photogenic when you have the nice shading. Gosh, shading makes these figures look so much better. It's like paint helps. Alright, so the elbow's fine. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. I still think the fist hands should be bigger. Okay, torso joint. It does lean back pretty far, and it looks pretty good doing it. Going forward, again, pretty far, not bad. It's got the same range as most of the ab crunches we see, and it's a nice diaphragm joint, which looks so much better. Leaning to the side works nicely, no issues there. You can rotate it, but you're going to scratch stuff, so just use this ugly joint down here if you really want to rotate it. Yeah, rotation's not great on somebody this wide and not so thick, which is another thing. I wish they would start making their figures a little bit thicker, especially Hulk. He's so skinny front to back. Give him a little bit of back, give him a little bit of chest. Like, he's so broad and so skinny at the same time. Okay, for the hips, they're still probably going to be bad. I don't think they changed anything. Yeah, they go out to the side, not forward really. That's the forward range. Going back, you get a little bit. Going out to the side is really nice. Ooh, this one's not as loose as the previous releases. I like that. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but that's definitely a welcomed improvement. The double jointed knee works well enough. You get about 90 degrees. And the ankles go all the way back. They go forward and you get an ankle rocker, but because the hips are so limited, he is pretty limited. But yeah, it's not bad. Like, it's the same articulation as before. This one seems slightly improved, so I'm happy. I'll give it a 7. There's nothing great about it other than the torso works pretty well and the reverse butterfly, but no forward. So yeah, I'm gonna go 7. It's not like impressive articulation for a Hulk. It's just acceptable. But now let's talk about the price point. Cap came in at, like, I think it was $35, and I said, I can see it, but that's pushing it, because it's still just a repainted Marvel Legends figure. There's not a whole lot of new stuff other than some accessories. So I was a little bit torn. I feel the same way about Hulk at the 40. I think he was $45. I'm not mad at it, but again, it's a repaint with new head and one accessory, really, because the card stock and the little base is not like a big deal. But the accessory's cool, don't get me wrong. I'm happy with the enhanced paint job, but for $45, that's a lot for basically a repainted Marvel Legends figure. So I'm torn. I'm going to say it's acceptable, but that's really pushing it for me at the Hasbro level of quality that we are getting. If we were getting like more new parts, I would be way more interested. Or like things like not having the face not be painted, things like that. I'm okay with 45, but that is really kind of like I'm tapping out at that, because these aren't improving that much for the price hike. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Okay, let me give you a final verdict on this guy. I like it way more than Cap. Cap's paint job and the fact that it's a mold that we already got, like I know this one is too, but this one's fine. That Cap mold is still kind of severely lacking in a few ways. This one's a little bit better overall, so I have to consider it. I like this one more. I'm going to give this one an overall rating of... Yeah, I'm going to go 9 out of 10. If the faces had the right paint on them, I would have very little to say that I really wanted to change. If they had the shading on them, I'm going to go 9 out of 10. I think Hulk's a better figure. I'm pretty sure I said Cap was an 8. He's just not as good a release. Even though this one costs more, I'm happier with it. And I don't like Hulk any more than Cap as a character. This is just a better figure, I think, objectively. Subjectively, I love the shading, but whatever. Okay, that's it. I'll stop rambling. It's long enough. Let me know how you guys feel about all the different things I asked you about. It's good for me to know what you guys are thinking, and I would bet that at least somebody from Hasbro sees my videos occasionally, and you might be able to get your word in their ear. So answer my questions in the comments below. It might be beneficial to the action figure industry as a whole. I mean, who knows? You never know. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.